Donald Trump had a disastrous landing into Malaysia as the government is shut down. Donald Trump becomes the first president in United States history to leave the country while the shutdown's in place, while Americans are suffering. During this landing, Donald Trump was ranting and raving like a lunatic, and he says he's now imposing an additional 10% tariffs on Canada because he's very angry about the ad that the province of Ontario bought featuring Ronald Reagan's voice, which has direct quotes of Ronald Reagan talking about how Reagan did not like tariffs. So yes, the president of the United States has just announced an arbitrary price hike on Americans because his feelings were hurt by an ad accurately quoting Ronald Reagan's criticism of tariffs that it's running during the World Series. What a baby. Here's what Donald Trump posted as he was landing into Malaysia. Canada was caught red-handed putting up a fraudulent advertisement on Ronald Reagan's speech on tariffs. Pause there. What's fraudulent about it? It's Ronald Reagan's words, word for word. We'll keep reading on. The Reagan Foundation said that they, quote, created an ad campaign using selective audio and video of President Ronald Reagan. The ad misrepresents the presidential radio address and did not seek nor receive permission to use and edit the remarks. Again, pause there. You have to fact check every word that Donald Trump says because it's always all false or it's deceitful. So the Reagan Foundation's no longer really run by the Reagan family. It's been co-opted by MAGA. People in the Trump regime run the Reagan Foundation. It's actually a former head of Fox Media and a former Trump official during his first administration who now runs the Reagan Family Foundation. They post a lot of stuff about Eric Trump. It's all MAGA propaganda, in my opinion, coming out of that. Also, when you looked at the use restrictions, it says no use restrictions at all. It's public domain. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what the province of Ontario did. And it's accurately quoting Ronald Reagan. It would be like if you did an ad featuring Obama's voice and a Democratic president was like, why would you play Obama talking about hope? We all know he didn't like that. Let's keep on reading this message. It goes on to say, the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute is reviewing its legal options in this matter. Okay, all you do is sue people. You have no case here. Good luck with that lawsuit. Then it goes on to say the sole purpose of this fraud was Canada's hope that the United States Supreme Court will come to their rescue on tariffs that they have used for years to hurt the United States. Just nothing true about that at all. Now the United States is able to defend itself against high and overbearing Canadian tariffs and those from the rest of the world as well, exclamation point. Ronald Reagan loved tariffs for purposes of national security and the economy, but Canada said he didn't. Canada didn't say anything. Canada posted Ronald Reagan's speech, and if you go and watch the full speech or dozens of other speeches from Ronald Reagan, he says that he supports free trade. He hates tariffs. He said that tariffs were the cause of the Great Depression, and if you use tariffs for national security, it's got to be very surgical and it's got to be limited in time and scope because it could have disastrous effects and that America needs to avoid reckless trade wars. This is the full context of what Reagan says. Reagan hated tariffs. It's very simple. You go on and you read more. Now the United States is able to defend itself. I know what you're talking about. Ronald Reagan loved tariffs. No, he didn't. You keep reading. Their advertisement was to be taken down immediately, but they let it run last night during the World Series, knowing that it was fraud. Because of their serious misrepresentations of the facts and hostile act, I am increasing the tariff on Canada by 10% over and above what they are paying now. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And then it's exclamation point. And then he posted that just throughout the day. And there was multiple posts about Canada. And Charlie Angus, a former member of Canada's parliament who now leads the resistance tour, holding Meidas town halls across Canada. He leads the Meidas Canada initiative as well. I spoke to him about Donald Trump's behavior and Donald Trump's threats, and here's what Charlie Angus, leader of Meidas Canada, said to me. By the way, everybody subscribe to the Meidas Canada YouTube channel. Check it out, what he said. Let's play it.
Well, Ben, wherever I travel, we've been taking the Meidas town halls across Canada. I'm seeing such a determination. And it started off, I think people were defensive. They were freaking out. It's like, what are we going to do? These guys are coming up for us. And now we're people are saying, we're done with them. You know, we saw the absolute collapse of the American spirit market, the wine industry disintegrating 97%. That shows what people power can do. But the upside is I was just talking to a winery in Ontario selling Ontario wines into Norway for the first time. We're taking advantage of this. What's really concerning to Canadians is the disintegration of the rule of law south of the border. The disrespect Donald Trump shows, not just for us, but for his own people. And, I did a Canadian interview today, and they said, well, don't you think it's very un-Canadian that we interfered in their country, blah, 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 clutching the pearls? I said, this is a guy who showed a video, an AI video of him dumping diarrhea on his own citizens. This man is not worthy of any office in any land. So the fact that he's freaked out that we showed a video that just had Ronald Reagan speaking shows that he's not trustworthy. People are not going to be expecting him to live up to his word. And it's forcing all nations, whether they wanted to or not, to look elsewhere. And so Canada's looking elsewhere.
I'll share this with you. The Prime Minister of Singapore spoke out about Donald Trump's really destruction of America as the leader of the world. This he said to the Financial Times. He makes so many good points here. So as Donald Trump is landing in Malaysia, the leader of Singapore is acknowledging in a very sober and matter-of-fact way that we now live in a multipolar world. America has pulled back. It is no longer a dominant force in the world. It is but a pole, and it is very weak. And that Singapore, like all countries, need to look elsewhere. And we have very turbulent times ahead because of what Trump did. But what he also points out as well, this is what Trump's being greeted with when he lands, is that Trump is a symptom as well of something more going on as well, of a grievance, of a overall right-wing kind of philosophy that's not just harming America, but as we're seeing that take root in other countries as well. Here he is, the leader of Singapore. I think it's very well said. Play this clip.
We are certainly in the midst of a great transition to a multipolar world, a post-American order and a multipolar world. No one can tell how the transition will unfold, but there is no doubt it will be messy and unpredictable because America is stepping back from its role as global insurer, but there is no other country that's able to or willing to fill the vacuum. So we are in an uncomfortable position where the old rules do not apply anymore, but the new ones have not been written. And we must brace ourselves for more turbulence ahead. So what are we to do in this environment? I think we cannot afford to just wait for things to happen or hope somehow that things magically will fall in place. We have to take actions now, plan now and start taking actions to invest together in tackling the problems of the global commons or in building new trade connections and keeping up the momentum of trade liberalization. So that's something that Singapore is keen to do. We can't do it alone, but we will do it with other like-minded countries.
Can you envision a world without the US?
The US may not be able or willing to join these plans now, but we have to press ahead. And hopefully in time to come, they will come along as well. But given the uncertainties and the unpredictabilities, we cannot just leave things to chance. We have to start taking actions now to lay the foundations of the new multilateral architecture.
But there are two views that the next few years are more of a passing phenomenon, or that there are deep structural changes in the world order that we are now living. You are in the second camp.
Yes, we are. We are, because we believe what has happened in America is not just a temporary phenomenon. It reflects broader change in political culture and also in American society itself, a feeling that America has not benefited from the current global order that it had put in place, and it is not prepared to do as much of the heavy lifting to keep the order going. And I think that goes beyond this administration.
A lot of other developments as Donald Trump's landing into Malaysia as well. In Ireland, the left-wing candidate, Catherine Connolly, has been an outspoken critic of Donald Trump an outspoken supporter for a free Palestine, an outspoken critic of neoliberal type globalism type policies. Anyway, she's set to become Ireland's next president after her rival concedes defeat. And here she is right here talking about why do we tolerate Trump? Like, this is what she said a few months back in February, the speech. Why do we tolerate this guy? Why? She goes, I don't even want to call him the president because of his conduct. And she goes, isn't it so obvious that he's supporting genocide? Why do we mince our words? So here's a previous speech of Catherine Connolly, now the president of Ireland. Here, play this clip.
I went in 2 minutes to make my points in relation to this, and I want to thank Sinn Féin. And I think it's an obscenity that we're here today. In truth, what we know, 61,762 people dead or missing. And we're here today when the leader of the free world has told us he's going to take over Gaza. And in a speech of five pages, there isn't a mention of what President Trump said last night. I have difficulty calling him President Trump, somebody that's clearly said he's going to invade and take over Gaza. When Russia did that to the Ukraine, we had no problem with language. We had no problem with contaminatory language, every single person in this chamber. It's extraordinary that the language that's used here are words like disheartening in relation to declaring UNRWA an illegal organisation. No mention of Trump whatsoever. And he's about to carry out a second NABCA. Honestly, only we have a duty to speak, we'd give up here. How long can we go on using and misusing language in this manner? At what stage will we make our words mean something? Because that's what we've been asked for. And we've a programme for government that has turned language on its head, and it talks about progressing the bill as opposed to enacting the bill. But we've no difficulty with language. We will change the triple lock, but we will progress the bill. And we're here today, and I would appeal to you all to listen to a former army man, Israel, who's turned a peace activist and formed a number of organisations, and listen to what he said today on Drive Time. He couldn't have been more reasonable and rational. And we're here today after Amnesty in 2018 issued a report that told us Israel was operating a vile apartheid regime. And whether the Palestinian lived in Gaza, East Jerusalem, or in the West Bank, they were all being subjected to the same. What did this stall do? Ignored it. What did we do when the 6 organisations were declared illegal human rights organisations? We did nothing.
You know, she mentions Palestine there. Yesterday, 3 Palestinians, including a child, were wounded by Israeli fire in southern Gaza. Israel has claimed that Hamas is violating the ceasefire. Hamas has reasserted control over Gaza. They're saying that Israel is violating the ceasefire. According to Al Jazeera, Israel forces have wounded at least 6 more Palestinians in Gaza since dawn, according to medical sources. 93 Palestinians killed in Israeli attacks in Gaza since the ceasefire is taking place. So you go from Gaza, go to the United States for a moment and see what's taking place here. So yesterday, another chemical weapon attack on American citizens, another gas attack early in the morning around 11 a.m., as this account says. It's not even 11 a.m. yet, and federal agents have gassed the northwest side of Chicago twice in the morning. Just before 10, they detained multiple people. One of them was known to be a U.S. citizen. And our government here in the United States is using chemical weapons on Americans in violation of an injunction that was imposed by federal Judge Ellis in Chicago. I mean, it's just, I'll show you this clip right here of what went down. And for those listening on audio, it will show literally chemical warfare on Americans and people in Chicago. But this is what's happening. I mean, these chemical weapons would be war crimes abroad, and the American government is doing this to its own people right now, which is sick. Here, play this clip.
Tear gas and over the
So I'll read this to you as well. This is from our friends over at Der Spiegel in Germany. I love the work over there. I'm a big Der Spiegel fan. And their economics section, this is how they frame the issue. Rightfully so. And they're calling it out with moral clarity. Does Trump fulfill what Marx prophesied? State monopoly capitalism. Rarely has the communist concept of struggle fit as well as the America of today. U.S. President Donald Trump merges the interests of government and corporations, right? Trump has seized corporate interests, taken control basically of them, is picking winners and losers. And this is only going to lead to a massive, like we know how this story ends. The government is not producing reports on job data, inflation data. The SEC is not really doing its function anymore. So corporations are engaged in all the fraud and chaos and havoc that it wants. It's inflating its stock price as well, while the fundamentals of our economy are suffering. That's what's taking place before our eyes. We can see it happening. Here was Donald Trump whining before leaving about the commercial. He's such a freaking baby, man. This behavior is so babyish. Here, play this clip right here.
I don't know. They cheated on a commercial. Ronald Reagan loved tariffs, and they said he didn't. And I guess it was AI or something. They cheated badly. Canada got caught cheating on a commercial. Can you believe it?
And I don't think it's coincidental that as Trump tries to distract us, who comes into the United States? The Russia Sovereign Wealth Fund head, Dmitriev, arrived in the United States for, quote, official talks. So Russia officials in the United States here, to try to bribe Republican politicians even more? Is that what this goal is right now? Spread that Russian money out to more Republican politicians. Absolutely grotesque, absolutely disgusting. And that's what's taking place before our eyes as Donald Trump lands inside Malaysia. We'll keep you posted every step of the way here on the MeidasTouch Network, as always. We're here in the struggle together. We're fighting for you every single day. We hear you, and we're fighting for you. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.